What if I told you that the difference between chaos and clarity, between stress and success, comes down to how you master your time, not your talent, not your resources, your time? Every one of us is given the same 24 hours. But it's what we choose to do with them that sets the extraordinary apart from the average. If you've ever felt like there's never enough time in the day, or that life is moving faster than you can keep up with, it's not because you're weak, lazy, or disorganized. It's because no one ever taught you how to take command of your minutes like a leader, like a visionary, like someone who refuses to let life slip by on autopilot. This isn't just about waking up earlier or making a longer to-do list. This is about rewiring how you think, how you prioritize, and how you protect the most precious currency you'll ever have, your time. Because once you understand how to manage your time, you stop managing tasks and start managing impact. In this video, you're not just going to learn strategies, you're going to unlock a new mindset, one that flips procrastination into power, distraction into discipline, and routines into results. So don't just watch this passively, watch with the intention to change something today. Take notes, absorb every word, because the moment you take control of your time is the moment you take control of your life. And if you stay with me till the very end, I promise you'll walk away not just with tools, but with a fire in your soul that says, I was made for more than busy, I was made for purpose. Most people start their day reacting to messages, to meetings, to the noise of the world instead of beginning with clarity. That's the problem with most time management strategies. They focus on what to do, and when to do it, but never start with why you're doing it in the first place. Purpose is the first principle of time. If you don't have a strong reason behind your actions, even the most detailed schedule becomes an exhausting list of boxes to check. But when you begin with why, your personal mission, your long-term vision, or simply the impact you want to make, then time becomes fuel, not friction. We often treat time like a problem to solve, when in fact it's a mirror that reflects our priorities. When your calendar is full of things that don't align with your values, you'll always feel busy but never fulfilled. And that's the real burnout, not physical exhaustion, but emotional detachment from your own life. The people who manage time well aren't just efficient, they're intentional. They don't just track hours, they protect their purpose. If you wake up and immediately dive into tasks without reconnecting to your why, you're giving away your time to the loudest voice in the room. But when you start with why, you take back control. You start shaping your time around meaning, not urgency. And that's when transformation happens, because meaning makes even mundane tasks feel valuable. You're not just answering emails, you're serving a mission. You're not just checking off a list, you're building a legacy. When your actions align with your why, time management isn't a burden. It's a way of honoring your life, your purpose, and the difference you were born to make. The power of prioritization is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. Time isn't something you find, it's something you create by removing what doesn't serve your bigger vision. Too often, people confuse being busy with being effective. They fill their days with endless tasks, hoping that productivity will lead to peace. But without clear priorities, busyness becomes a trap. It keeps you moving but never progressing. You're running fast, but in circles. Smart time managers know that saying yes to everything is the fastest route to mediocrity. Excellence requires discipline. It means being bold enough to say no to good things so you can say yes to great things. Prioritization demands clarity, courage, and sometimes sacrifice. You have to decide what truly deserves your energy, your attention, your hours. Because everything you commit to is a trade-off. When you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. Maybe your health, maybe your family, maybe your dreams. The key is to stop trying to do it all and start doing what moves the needle. Start every day by asking, what are the top 3 things I can do today that will have the greatest impact? Then protect those priorities like your future depends on it, because it does. It's not about having time, it's about making time for what matters. And when your calendar reflects your convictions, your life starts to feel aligned. Not easy, not perfect, but purposeful. In that clarity, you don't just manage your time, you lead it. And eventually, your days stop feeling like a blur and start feeling like progress. You don't burn out, you build up. That's the power of knowing what matters most and honoring it every single day. Eliminating distractions isn't about becoming a machine, it's about becoming intentional. In today's world, attention is currency, and everywhere you turn, something is trying to steal it. Notifications, emails, scrolling feeds, background noise, all designed to fracture your focus and keep you reactive instead of proactive. And if we're honest, most of the time we let them. Not because we don't care about our goals, but because we haven't trained our minds to protect our focus. Time management is energy management. You can have an open calendar, but if your attention is scattered, your day is already lost. The most successful people aren't the busiest. They're the most focused. They eliminate what doesn't matter so they can go all in on what does. That means creating boundaries that protect your time, turning off notifications, blocking time for deep work, saying no to unnecessary meetings. It also means recognizing the difference between what's urgent and what's important. Distractions often scream the loudest, but that doesn't make them worthy of your attention. When you train yourself to remove distractions, you take back your mental clarity. You begin to work with presence. You stop reacting and start creating. You get more done in less time, not because you're working harder, but because you're working smarter. You're no longer pulled in 100 directions. You're moving in one. And that one direction leads to actual progress. Eliminating distractions is a habit of formers because it creates space for purpose to thrive. In that space, ideas grow, decisions become clearer, and action becomes meaningful. You don't just manage time better, you become the kind of person who can command it. That's how you rise above the noise and get meaningful work done that actually moves your life forward. Effective prioritization is not just about managing tasks, it's about managing meaning. Every day, we are presented with a flood of responsibilities, opportunities, and requests. Without a clear sense of what truly matters, we begin reacting instead of responding. We check off to-do lists that leave us feeling busy but not productive, exhausted but not accomplished. The truth is, time isn't the issue, clarity is. Smart time management begins when you stop treating all tasks as equal, because they're not. Some tasks move you forward, while others just keep you busy. Knowing the difference is the starting point of leadership, both in life and in business. The most effective people know how to ask a powerful question every morning. What's the one thing I can do today that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? This forces the brain to shift out of survival mode and into strategic thinking. When you prioritize based on impact instead of urgency, you stop chasing fires and start building foundations. You stop feeling like a victim of your day and become the architect of your progress. This doesn't mean ignoring small tasks. It means anchoring your energy to the big ones first, because the small tasks will fill in the cracks, but the big ones will build the walls. Prioritization is about making trade-offs that reflect your values, your goals, and your mission. People who master this skill gain a unique sense of peace, because they're no longer trying to do it all. They're doing what matters most. They realize that saying yes to everything is actually a way of saying no to excellence. Greatness isn't built on scattered energy. It's built on focused, consistent effort toward high-value actions. Prioritization gives you the power to be intentional, and that intentionality is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Learning to say no is not a rejection of opportunity, it's an affirmation of purpose. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you are unintentionally saying no to something that does. Time is finite, and your energy is not unlimited. Yet, so many of us dilute our potential by becoming people pleasers, saying yes out of guilt, fear, or the desire to avoid conflict. But here's the truth: boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges to better outcomes. They protect your time, preserve your energy, and create space for what really matters. The most productive people in the world aren't those who take on the most. They're the ones who have learned what to ignore. Saying no is a discipline. It requires clarity, confidence, and courage, and it's often uncomfortable, especially when you're turning down good things. But good things aren't always the right things. You were not meant to be constantly accessible or endlessly available. You were meant to focus, to build, to grow. And that can only happen when you have the strength to filter. Time management isn't just about doing more in less time. It's about doing less with more focus. And the ability to say no is at the heart of that focus. It means you value your mission enough to protect it. It means you're willing to disappoint others occasionally so you don't disappoint yourself continuously. When you say no to distraction, you say yes to depth. When you say no to chaos, you say yes to clarity. And when you say no to being everything for everyone, you give yourself the permission to become the best version of you. That version doesn't chase approval, it chases purpose. That version doesn't crumble under pressure, it stands tall in conviction. Because every no rooted in purpose is a yes to a future that matters. Effective time management is not just about calendars or to-do lists. It's about reflection. The best way to move forward with purpose is to regularly pause and look back with honesty. When you take time to evaluate how you spent your day, you begin to notice the invisible patterns that either push you forward or hold you back. You start to identify where your energy was focused, where your attention was lost, and where your intentions fell short. Without this level of reflection, we often live in cycles of unawareness, repeating the same habits and expecting different results. Daily reflection is the compass that keeps you aligned with your true direction. It forces you to be accountable, not to anyone else, but to yourself. Did you use your time wisely? Did you give your best where it mattered? Did you invest in what fuels your growth or just react to the demands of the day? These questions may seem simple, but they open the door to radical clarity. Reflection doesn't mean dwelling on your mistakes. It means learning from them. It's where wisdom grows and decisions improve, because every minute spent in awareness adds value to the minutes that follow. The people who manage their time masterfully are not perfect. They are simply more self-aware. They don't guess where their time went. They know because they track it, review it, and adjust accordingly. And in doing so, they sharpen their instincts, refine their priorities, and reclaim control of their lives. When you make reflection a daily habit, your time stops being a blur and starts becoming a tool you can shape, refine, and wield with purpose. Time isn't just something you spend, it's something you steward. And the more intentional you are with reflection, the more empowered you become in every decision that follows. In the end, mastering time isn't just about getting more done, it's about becoming someone worth following. It's about building the habits, the focus, and the discipline to align your days with your deeper purpose. Because when you manage your time well, you don't just improve your productivity, you elevate your life. You become a leader of your own future, not a prisoner of your distractions. The truth is, The way you spend your hours is how you spend your life. If you want to live with intention, clarity, and power, it starts with every single decision you make about your time. You owe it to yourself to stop living reactively and start living deliberately, and that shift, though it might feel small, will become the defining edge that sets you apart from the crowd. Thank you for being here, for showing up, and for choosing growth over comfort. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't just let it be words. Act on it, live it, and if it helped you, share it with someone who needs it too. Because the more of us who take control of our time, the more of us who start living on purpose. Stay focused, stay powerful, and I'll see you in the next one.